good evening. Today we're going to talk about the cold, because it's cold, but also I'm going to talk about how to make up a blend. Okay, a friend asked today about chilblains, which are when your fingertips or your toes go really cold, and it's usually to do with lack of circulation and just a whole lot of things in your skin. So we need to get things happening in there again, get the feeling back, look after the skin, get rid of the redness, things like that. So I found a recipe that contains these 3 oils. Okay, so we've got eucalyptus, rosemary and peppermint. Okay, peppermint's well known for its cooling aspects, rosemary for circulation, eucalyptus just for all its healing properties. Now, being doTERRA, all 3 of these you'll see are the certified therapeutic CPTG labelling on them, therapeutic grade oils. So all of them have that little tag on them. Okay, now when your oils come, all of them have some type of lid. Okay, and I say some type of lid because some of them, I'll grab this one out, this one's got the childproof lid on it, so it just requires a little bit more effort to open it. Okay, the majority of the oils will just have this lid on them. Now once you crack the seal with that, what you will find underneath, and that goes for both types of bottles, what you will find is this. Okay, now this is the dropper, the dripper. Now that's there for a few reasons. Okay, now that bottle has like 200-300 drops of oil in it. So if we were to knock it over, or the kids knocked it over, that's a lot of oil to lose onto our surfaces. So this little dropper is pretty cool. It will drop out, but it will take some time for that to happen. Okay, we do say, and this is one oil that's actually got the nutritional, the supplement information on it. So this is one that you can take. But in saying that, we only want to take 1 or 2 drops. We don't want to be taking or drinking that entire bottle. So this is completely a safety thing, as well as it being a really good way to measure how much oil we're getting out. So important to keep that on. There are easy ways to get them off if you need to, but that's why they are there. Now you will see, and you have to look really close, and there's no way this lens is going to show you, I don't think. So yeah, there is that hole in the middle of the bottle, but in the circle, in this circle here around that lid, that's actually where the hole that drips the oil out is. Okay, so this oil, this is peppermint. This is a relatively thin oil, so this oil will drip out fairly quickly when we tip it up and have that the hole facing down. Okay, now if the hole is facing down, the air can get in the centre and the oil can drip out the bottom, and that way it will come out much quicker. Like I said, this one's a thin oil, so this one will actually drop out fairly quickly, but if you've got one of the thicker oils, it might take a while. So if you have the air hole facing down, okay, and the dropper hole facing down and the air hole open, clear, then it will drop out much quicker. So if you tip the bottle that way, okay, that will take longer for some of the thicker oils to come out, because you're actually blocking the air hole. So you need that middle bit open so the air can get in so that the oil can come out. That's how it works. Okay, now this blend that I want to make for my friend, like I said, has those 3 oils in it, and I'm going to make it in a 30ml bottle for her. That way, once I add it to the fractionated coconut oil, what will happen is that she'll have enough to sort of drop it out, put it on her hands. Now, this particular bottle, I can use a dropper lid in it, or I can use this lid. So it's got this one in it. I will give her the choice of the other lid as well. Now, this one, I figure, is one, I can mix it. Two, I can squeeze it out and get a reasonable amount. If it has this little lid in it, we're only going to get out a couple of drops at a time, where this way I'm going to get out enough to rub it into my hands for a fair amount to get it working. Knowing that my friend has a small child, it will, when I give it to her, I will warn her that it doesn't have that dropper lid on it, because she may want to know that one. Okay, now the question is, I have 3 oils and I want to put those 3 oils into the 30ml bottle with fractionated coconut oil. Okay, so this is my carrier oil. Now I'm using this because it helps the body absorb the oils quicker than if I just put the oils straight onto my hands. If I put the oils straight onto my hands and rub them in, yes, it will get in, but a lot of it will evaporate, and I'm only getting a certain percentage of effectiveness from it. If I add it to the carrier oil, to the fractionated coconut oil, that will soak it in. That breaks it down and takes it into my skin much quicker. Okay, so it will get into my skin, but it also reduces the amount that evaporates off my skin. So we're going to use the fractionated coconut oil. Now, the recipe that I saw that I'm making basically just said those 3 oils, which means how much oil am I going to put into my 30ml bottle. So luckily, gotta love doTERRA, they're very handy, they think of everything, okay, or those associated with doTERRA think of everything. And here is a little dilution chart with some safety tips and some measurement tips on it. Okay, so it lets you know that a 10ml bottle, for example, is 200 drops of oil. Okay, so a 10ml bottle. So these are 15ml bottles, these ones. So that will have 300 drops of oil in it. Okay, and that's what it tells me on my little chart there. Okay, it also does some conversions from other ones as well. I will copy this and put it on the page. Okay, now on this side it talks about dilutions, okay, because children, especially like younger children, they don't need as much. Okay, so we're talking about a 0.5% of oil to carrier ratio. Okay, children under 12 or pregnant women or elderly or people with really sensitive skin, a 1% dilution. Okay, so a 1% dilution is 1%, yeah, we'll get to the next bit in a second. So 1%. For daily skincare, 2%, and you could, if it is for short-term use, which I'm kind of hoping the chilblain blend is, if we're doing it for short-term use, you can use a 3% blend. Okay? Right, so then it is how much carrier oil. Okay, so we will be using a 30ml bottle. Okay, so that's the equivalent of 6 teaspoons or 600 drops we're using. So 600 drops, and we're going to use 3%. Okay, so 3% is 18 drops is all we need into this bottle. Okay, 18 drops, and we've got 3 oils. So we could use 3 drops of each, 6 drops of each of the 3 oils. Okay, so to do that, what we do, we take the lid off, and we're going to drop the oil, the essential oils, into the bottle first. Okay, that way when I get to the carrier I can top the bottle up and I'm not going to overflow. If I put the carrier in first and then put my essential oils in, I may lose a lot of the oil. So we're going to do 6 drops of each. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's the peppermint. Okay, we've got rosemary next. No, eucalyptus next. Okay, so same thing. Okay, same drippers in the top there. So we're going to do 6 of this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, 7 escaped. I'm not worried. 7 is fine. You saw how quick that one came out. Okay, so that's a very fine oil, that one. Okay, and then we've got rosemary. Okay, so we'll do the 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the rosemary came out slower than the eucalyptus. Okay, the rosemary and the peppermint were about the same thickness, and the eucalyptus came out much quicker. Okay, a bit like when you use your orange oil, it comes out very quick. But if you're using vetiver, you need to wait. You need a lot of patience with that one. Okay, so now I've got my carrier. So I've put my 18 drops of oil in there. You can see it's not a huge amount, but that is all I'm going to need in a 30 ml bottle to make a blend. Okay, so now the carrier oil. Now it does have the hole, and the oil does come out of the middle there. Sometimes a little bit tricky. This one I sometimes flick the lid off just so that I don't make a huge mess with it. But no, we're going to be all right today, I think. So if the bottle's really full, sometimes it will end up squirting all over the place. So I tend to take that lid off. But just in case I knock it over or drop it, I put the cap back in. Okay, we're nearly there. Oh. Okay. Now the fractionated coconut oil doesn't freeze up like the coconut oil that you buy in the tins sometimes. Okay, it's a little bit different to the jojoba oil. When I first started working with oils, almond oil was the go-to base oil that everybody used. And yeah, it's a nice oil, but it goes rancid really quick, and I always found it very thick on my skin. It would soak in, but I found it a lot thicker to use, and I didn't particularly like the feel of it, so I tended to use jojoba oil a lot. Now with that, jojoba oil is a natural wax, and it did have a tendency to freeze up and go white in the bottle. A little bit of body heat would get it working again. And whatever it does that freezes it, they've taken that out of, or what the fractionated part. There's a whole technical thing on it. You can Google it. That tells you why the fractionated coconut oil is the one that doesn't freeze up. So it's great, and you can use it with confidence. Now that bottle's full, so I'm going to put the lid on it. Now once I put the lid on it and tighten it, that will actually lock it in so that once my friend gets it, she's going to know that nothing else has happened to that bottle. Okay, so there it is. I did spill a little on the outside, so I'll just wipe that down, because I've got one more thing to tell you about when you make a blend. Okay, so there's one thing missing. Good news is I've put the lid on, so it's not missing from the inside of the bottle. Okay, if you are making things up, you need to know what's in it. So great idea that while it's fresh in your mind, label the bottle as soon as you can. And as always, I've forgotten to grab something to do it. Now, hold on, they're just there, I can see them. Okay, so I have some labels here. So what we're going to do, we're going to label the bottle for my friend. Now, these labels, this sheet of labels, okay, has all your essential oils and your blends on it. Okay, this sheet is like $1. When you place your order, if you've got your own account, if you go into your back office and go into tools, you will find this sheet, and it's $1, and it's like one of the best dollars you will spend. Okay, because it means that when you make up a blend, you can label it. Okay, so this blend has in it rosemary, so I'll put rosemary on it. It has eucalyptus, okay, and the third, peppermint was in it, and peppermint. Okay, there you go. So there's the blend all labelled. Now you can see that the labels are on there. Yeah, no, that one, this one doesn't have the fractionated coconut oil label on it, but it does have a little white one. So I'm going to put the little white one on there as well, and I will write FCO on that, so that now when I give this bottle to my friend, she knows exactly what's in it. Okay, I can put a little label on there, you know, just one of your printer ones, or I've got some little labels I found at Officeworks that fit on your bottles. So I could put some instructions on that, just telling her to rub it into the chilblains, into the hands, because even though that obviously doesn't say what's in it, says what's in it, doesn't tell her what it's for. So it's probably not a bad idea, either on the white label or on the other one, to write for chilblains, okay, as well as the fact that it's in fractionated coconut oil. So mixing it just gently up and down. It's not like your morning shakes. You don't have to shake it over the top. We have to just give it a gentle mix. Okay, now that one is ready, and I will be in contact with my friend, because I'll try and actually get that to her tomorrow, because chilblains aren't fun, and that will definitely help bring down some of the swelling and infection, and stop the infection in those. The other big thing with chilblains is if they get too cold, they get itchy and you want to scratch them, and that then affects your skin. So because that's in the fractionated coconut oil, she'll be able to rub that in, and that will work on all those different levels. So on the skin, as well as the circulation and the healing of the skin as well, and the chilblains, so that she's not got any scarring, and hopefully no itches. So that's how we make a blend. Okay, so first thing, find your recipe, work out what you're going to make. Then check your dilution chart and work out how many drops you need. Okay, now if that blend, if you didn't particularly like peppermint, or if you were using vetiver, for example, okay, now vetiver is really, really strong. So if I had a recipe that had, or was knew of 3 oils to use, and vetiver was one of them, then I wouldn't do an equal blend like I did with that one. Okay, so that one I just did 6, 6 and 6. Now if I had vetiver in there, knowing how strong smelling vetiver is, I would probably be looking at maybe 2 or 3 drops of vetiver, and then I've still got sort of 16 drops that I can use, so maybe 8 and 8. But I learnt this trick the other week and I loved it. It was really cool. Okay, so you take your 3 oils, okay, and you hold them there under your nose and have a smell. Now if one of them is really, really strong and you don't want that really, really strong smell, drop that bottle down. Okay, just a lid, drop it down. Now smell it. Now if that is more appealing, great, go with that. Okay, so that would then be, we're still going to work on the 6, 6, 6, so we could do 7, 7, 5, for example. Or if this one is still too overpowering, we could drop it down. But if we really like this one, we could lift that one up and do it again. Okay, so then we might have 6, 8, 4. Okay, and that will give you a bit of an idea on how to pick how many to do if your recipe doesn't give you specific amounts. Okay, so you work on your dilution and then work out what you want to do with it. Now, we saw when we put it in the bottle that it wasn't a huge amount, and one of the oils an extra dropped in, so no problem. It's not something that we need to worry about. And know that if there was 20 in there, it's not going to affect it. It's still going to work. It's still going to be great. Now, if my friend starts to use this blend and says, oh, the peppermint is so overpowering, realistically, I could add another drop or 2 of each of these to that blend, and it will still be safe to use, but it will then overpower the peppermint a little bit more. So you can stick to your rules, use your rules as your guidelines, but just be adaptable within that. You don't have don't panic if it's not quite right. You can work with it. Obviously, we saw that it took about that much essential oil. If we're up to here and we're still not happy with the smell, well, you're getting a bit carried away. Okay, so don't get carried away. Oils are potent. You don't need huge amounts. Okay, so that was that. Now I see Judy's joined us and she's asked me how Mamma Mia was. We went and saw Mamma Mia last night. One of the charities that I'm working with at the moment is the Dilly Drought Drive. So we've been doing a lot of fundraising for the Dilly Drought Drive. And somebody last night, and I didn't even notice who, someone last night won one of the athletes' kits, the doTERRA ones that I donated, the one that's got the ice blue rub and then 5 oils in it. So I hope they enjoy it. It's got my name in it, so if they've got any questions they'll know who to contact. The movie itself, Judy, it was funny. Okay, it's not awesome. The first one I absolutely loved, and we own it on DVD. We watch it all the time. The second one, you had to. It was funny. Okay, when Fernando came on, never have I cracked up during Fernando. It's usually one of those songs that sort of makes you feel a bit sad, especially, sadly, I do remember when it came out. And when it came out and it was the whole bonfire scene and it was just really heart-wrenching. Whatever, it's not that in the movie. It is absolute crack up. Ask Frida. She went and saw it. She was there last night. She came along and supported. But yeah, it was funny. That's my crack up scene in that movie. So lighthearted, go and enjoy it. It was fun. Don't expect anything majorly mind blowing, but it was fun. And we raised $3,803 for the Dilly Drought Drive. So I'm really, really proud of that effort. Anyway, that will do for tonight. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.